Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome to the Soul Drop, and this is my first impressions look on the New Balance Fresh Foam BB. So New Balance, of course, only has a couple of shoes in their basketball shoe arsenal, right? They have the Kawhis, they have the two-ways, and that's pretty much it. And they did have the Omnis, but they don't make those anymore, unfortunately. So this shoe retails for 130 bucks. If you do want to cop, it is sold out on New Balance, but I'm not sure on like other sites. So I'll try to leave in the feed link in the description box if you guys do want to try to cop. And also, if you guys do want to help support the channel, you guys can press the join button right underneath this video. It literally says join, and there are memberships for this channel. So some of the perks that you get are live streams, like chat only live streams. So I will be live streaming once a week, usually on Wednesdays. I'll try to go on Wednesday at night, probably around 9 to 10 p.m. And once I go live, I will do, a segment where members only can chat, right? And also I will be announcing get-togethers and stuff like that to my members. So if you guys do want to help and support, thank you guys so much. If you do, again, it will be right below the video. But anyways, let's get it started off with the Tracciones. And in this colorway, we have a fully translucent outsole, and we have hexagonal spirals, it says. It says a hexagonal spiral outsole pattern, which is, I guess it kind of looks like a hexagon a little bit. But it just looks like circles, you know what I mean? And it kind of reminds me of like fingerprints, like a very cartoonish fingerprint design, pretty much going throughout this entire outsole. And we have the New Balance logo here in the heel. And as far as the traction goes on my wood floors, it feels really, really good so far. There's a nice loud squeak, and it has a pretty nice bite. So I feel like it'll perform pretty well on a clean court, but we'll have to see on a dusty setting. I mean, obviously my wood floors are pretty dirty and pretty dusty, so it seems to be picking up a little bit of dust and stuff like that. So that will be coming, of course, for the full performance review. And as far as the outdoor use goes, it feels like it'll be okay. I mean, the grooves are on like the thicker side of things and also pretty deep, but I don't know, it like moves pretty easily. I don't know if it's because like it's like super deep, right? Or maybe it's because the rubber is on the softer side of things. But also it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of surface area, just because in between the circles or the hexagonal spirals, there's a good amount of space, you know what I mean? So not a whole lot of surface area for outdoor use. So I feel like it'll be okay. Probably not the best option, probably not the worst, but I feel like it'll be all right for outdoor use. So there is the outsole design there. Moving on to the heel to toe transition, overall it feels pretty smooth, right? So here in the heel, we have a nice rounded, nice curved shape. But however, look at how caged it is, right? On the lateral side, and also here in the heel is pretty caged. It's not as bad as the Kawhi 2s, however, so it's not terrible. And then here on the medial side though, we have pretty much a fully exposed fresh foam, right? So here in the heel, it feels all right, but it is a little clunky, and this cage is really, really stiff. Like there's no give to it at all. And then here in the forefoot, we have a nice rounded shape as well. Look at that. And a good amount of forefoot flex, right? So overall, it feels pretty damn smooth so far. I like how it feels. Now moving on to the cushioning setup. So I really like how the cushioning setup feels, right? So of course they have Fuel Cell, they have Fresh Foam from New Balance. And Fresh Foam is nice. I've tried it in the running shoes, and there's a lot of compression. It's super soft, not a whole lot of bounce, especially comparing to like Fuel Cell, but there is a little nice subtle bounce back, right? So they're using Fresh Foam X, and it says right here in the back of the heel. And like I said, it's super caged, right? I do like how it looks though. It has like this like iridescent glow to it on the side, as opposed to the bottom, which is just fully translucent, right? But yeah, so there's not a whole lot of compression on the lateral side here in the heel, but like in the back of the heel and also on the medial side, there it compresses a little bit more, and also it's like pretty soft for underfoot cushioning, right? So as far as the insole goes, the insole is all right. It seems like a regular Ortholite insole, and then underneath that, however, the strobel board, it is kind of stiff, but it like gives a little bit, right? So I feel like, because of that, the Fresh Foam feels pretty nice underneath your foot, or underneath my foot right now at least. So here in the heel, there's a little bit of compression. It's pretty subtle though, and also here in the forefoot, there's a little bit of compression, but it's very subtle too. Core feel overall is pretty damn good, it feels like. In the forefoot, it feels low to the ground, and here in the heel, it gets a little bit thicker, obviously. So there is a good offset. So I feel like it'll be a, pretty responsive cushioning setup with good court feel, but with a little bit of compression and pretty nice impact protection. Hopefully there's nice bounce too, but it feels like it'll be more like on the responsive side of things. I wish they would have caged it up a little bit less, but this definitely does make sense because fresh foam, especially feeling it here on the medial side, it's really, really soft, right? And it feels like real fresh foam. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't feel, you know how like Under Armour, when they give us, Charge, or when they give us Micro G or even Flow, in their running shoes, it's really soft. You know what I mean? Like Flow in their running shoes, really soft. Same thing with, Charge. But in their ball shoes, their hoop shoes, it's really stiff, like in the Curry, it's super stiff. So they give us like a different version of the foam. I don't know why Under Armour does that. It almost feels like they're deceiving us, but here in the New Balances, it actually really feels like fresh foam. You know what I mean? Like I have a New Balance, running shoe right here, and the fresh foam here feels very, very similar on the medial side here. In this shoe and also in this shoe. So I like what New Balance did. So that it definitely does make sense, because if it was too soft here, it would be laterally unstable. So I do understand this caging, right? So there is the cushioning setup there. Moving on to the materials. So they're using an engineered fit weave, right? So it says fit weave right here on the medial side. And it actually feels pretty nice. It feels like a more supportive type of textile material, right? It does feel like a little glued down, right? There's definitely like, it feels rigid, you know what I mean? But it doesn't feel like super stiff. It doesn't feel uncomfortable. It doesn't pinch the top of my foot really at all right now. It just feels really supportive, right? So I feel like it's a pretty good average between like support and also like comfort, like it conforming to your foot and stuff. It still does feel a little stiff on foot, however, especially comparing to like a really nice knit like this, right? But I feel like this will probably break in very nicely. Overall, it is on the thinner side of things. So it feels nice on foot so far. And also for quality, it's actually pretty nice. It doesn't feel super cheap. It doesn't feel flimsy or anything like that. So I do like it here in the forefoot. We do have some fuse around the toe as well for extra durability and support. And then around the eyelets, we have some more fuse. That's very typical. And also look at how thin it is, right? And this fit weave doesn't feel glued down at all. It just feels really, really soft. Comparing it to the forefoot. The forefoot feels a little bit more rigid, right? And then for the tongue, we have like an average amount of padding. It's pretty minimal actually. And then we have some like cheap material on it as well. And then it is a half booty construction tongue, giving you a better overall one-to-one fit with your foot. And then here in the ankle area, we have very minimal padding as well, maybe a little bit less than average. And it's weird because if you look like underneath the foam, there's like Achilles pillows kind of. It's more on the side of the shoe and really, really down here, right? I don't know why they added that, but it doesn't really do anything. I don't really feel like I feel anything extra. So overall, it's a really minimal feeling upper, which of course is good. And also it feels super supportive because, like this material, there's really no stretch to it or anything like that. So I feel like, overall it feels nice on foot so far. And now moving on to the fit, I went true to size and it fits me extremely well, right? So my toes go pretty much right to the edge of the shoe. So I do like the length going true to size. And also width-wise, it is slightly narrow. It squeezes the side of my foot just a tiny bit, not super narrow or anything, but also I wouldn't say it's like a normal width, right? Also here in the toe box, it is a pretty snug fit. It's not super snug. It just fits me pretty nicely. I can curl my toes up just a tiny bit. So overall, it's a nice snug fit for me going true to size. If you want a pretty nice snug fit, then go true to size, right? But if you have a wide foot or you want a roomier fit in the toe box, probably just go up a half size and you should be good to go. Also, the shoe is very easy to put on. The tongue opens up a lot. We have, flat laces for, this colorway. And also it is a mid top, right? They're calling it a mid-top shoe. And overall, it feels pretty nice for a mid-top, as far as ankle support goes. Obviously, I haven't played in it, but right now, for my first impressions, it feels all right. And now moving on to the support and lockdown, it feels like it's gonna be good, right? So we have a lateral cage, and it even says on their tech specs, there is a lateral cage. So they say this is an EVA lateral cage, right? Maybe it's this blue part, I'm not 100% sure, but it does act as a lateral counter here in the forefoot and also here in the heel, and it feels like there's an internal TPU heel counter as well. So a lateral containment, you're good to go. right? It feels like it'll be good, and also this material feels very rigid and very supportive. So I feel like overall lateral containment is going to be very good. Lateral stability also looks like it's going to be pretty good. You know, this part here in the forefoot on the lateral side, you know, it does protrude out a little bit. There's not a crazy outrigger, but it is a pretty wide base. So lateral stability feels like it's going to be good as well. And now moving on to the weight of the shoe. Surprisingly, this shoe actually feels kind of light, but I don't know. I feel like maybe 11, 12 ounces is what I'm guessing. Let's check. Wow, 11.22 ounces. Well, yeah, it feels extremely light. Like the upper feels very minimal, right? And fresh foam is actually super duper light. I just thought, you know, because of all this cage, right, it would be a little bit heavier, but it's actually not. Let's check the other shoe. 11.18, right? So that's a lot lighter than average. It feels very light on foot. It doesn't look like it's that light though. So good job to the designer, you know, whoever put the shoe together with the materials and stuff like that. It feels very light. Let's actually check the running shoe. This will be like 8.4 ounces, right? So there's the weight there. Moving on to the aesthetics, I really like it. The overall silhouette looks great. This colorway looks great as well. I don't know, it's just like a very simple design. You know, the New Balance logo is right here, and then I do like this kind of like pattern on this caging, right? So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, the Fresh Foam BB. Hopefully we get a Fresh Foam BB too, because this shoe is feeling super nice. I'm saying like, hopefully we get like another, you know, basketball shoe line from New Balance, right? That uses fresh foam. It's 130 bucks, which is it's all right for pricing, but the shoe overall is feeling really nice on foot so far for my first impressions. And by the way, this is not Zach Lavine's shoe. It's not his signature shoe. That's what some people were saying on Instagram. It's not. It's more just like a shoe that he's wearing. You know what I mean? You know, like how Blake Griffin had the Superflies. It wasn't his shoe, but he would endorse it. Same thing with Luka Doncic with the Zoom Separate. He was wearing the Zoom Separate, but it wasn't his actual signature shoe. So same thing with I guess this shoe. Zach Lavine was actually playing in two ways. You know, he was playing in 2A V1, V2, V3, and now I guess he's switching to the Fresh Foam BB. But hopefully, you know, maybe at the end of this year or next year he does get a signature shoe. I feel like he's pretty marketable, right? Would you guys buy a signature shoe? You know, Zach Lavine one? I don't know. Tell us down in the comment section below. Again, if you guys do want to cop this, I'll try to leave in the free link in the description box, but that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.